much for having me here today. I'm excited to speak to you about Greenprint and what we do. I'm the Executive Director of the ULI Greenprint Center. The Greenprint Foundation was originally founded as a nonprofit by a consortium of real estate owners and investors all interested in improving the environmental performance of the real estate industry. When they originally got together, they said, well, we understand that real estate's a huge energy hub, but how do we actually impact the environment? How do we help reduce carbon, reduce water, reduce waste? And so they said, well, we don't really understand, and I think this was close comment, you can't really impact what you don't measure. You can't really manage what you don't measure. So they said, well, why don't we start aggregating and understanding how our companies, how our real estate portfolios are performing? And so based on that, they started doing reports on benchmarking and saying this is how, for each of the individual members, to say this is how your 3 buildings in New York City are comparing to the larger benchmark in New York City. And you can very quickly tell based on that to say, okay, well, based on the median of all the other buildings in New York City that we have in our portfolio, it's a huge underperformer or overperformer, and it's really easy to make quick changes or address those types of buildings. So that was kind of the first step in the process. So just a little bit more about Greenprint. I'd like to give you an overview. I'd like to do 3 things in my 7 minutes. Provide you with an overview of Greenprint, provide you with an overview of our report, and then also provide you with some information as to where we see Greenprint going forward. So with respect to an overview of who we are and what we do, the ULI Greenprint Center was founded as a foundation originally, and it was recently merged into ULI, which is the Urban Land Institute. It has a fantastic 75-year history of performance and land use and commitment to land use issues. So we're really excited to be a part of the ULI organization. We think it gives us a lot more resources. Now we do actually have this amazing data, a lot of which comes from Energy Star, compiling that data and being able to produce some more interesting content, so some best practices, some case studies and things of that nature to help the real estate community take the next steps in those improvements. So once you understand the performance, making improvements based on the metrics that you have. Last year we started collecting not only energy and carbon data, we actually collect energy data and we translate it into carbon globally, but we also collect water and waste data as well. And so specifically for our report, what we do is we aggregate the data. If you want to see our aggregated report, there's some copies of it on the table over there. And then what we do is provide very specific reports for our members to review. Our membership is really the only reason why we are successful. I think there's been our members, we have about 30 members, Star, with some of them are here, Deutsche Bank, Reef, Tishman Speyer, CalPERS, Blackstone, and it's only through the leadership of these companies that came together to say, this is what we as a real estate industry want to capture, this is what we think we can capture, and this is what we want to track from a measurement perspective. That is the only reason that we exist, because I know that there's companies from a software technology perspective that are far better equipped to do what we do than us. I won't name them, but I know that they've tried. There's been various solutions out there in the market that have recently failed, and the only reason that we're able to do this as well as we do is because we have the support of the industry. And so that kind of leads me to where we're going. We recently had a board meeting. Our board is pretty much the CEOs and presidents of these companies that I mentioned, some of which that I mentioned. And the 2 major goals that we discussed were, one is we would love to lead the real estate industry towards developing one standard. So when you have disclosures in New York, disclosures in Tokyo, disclosures in Oslo, wouldn't it be great to say this, as global real estate investors, this is the data that we track and this is the data that we can collect, rather than having regulatory disclosure requirements that are not dictated, that are dictated by government and not necessarily by the real estate industry. So we think that's important. We think that this market is very crowded and it's not helping the real estate owners. It's just creating more work. And the second piece is linking financial performance to environmental performance. And we think that that's really important, and we're working on a variety of initiatives to try to establish what that metric will look like. We know that it's really hard to do at this point, but we'd like to set the groundwork for that. So kind of a longer-term goal of 3 to 5 years, but we think that working with a lot of the other organizations that do collect this financial data and linking the two, that we'll be able to move that sector forward as well.